Good day, everybody. I'm Colby. I'm coming to you from Muffler Tech, brought to you by PriusCats.com and StolenCats.com. Today, this video is going to pertain to vehicles now that we're seeing pretty frequently besides Priuses, and I want everybody to be aware of what to watch for in and around cats getting stolen. So you see this Accord behind me, and then there's a blue Prius there. That one has a stolen cat as well. And then right here, the two Ford products right behind me. So let's talk about that, and I'll update you on kind of what to be careful and watch for. So the times as we speak, at least as I'm making this video now, of course, we're in the global pandemic timing of the COVID-19. And the reason that I think this is something we should be talking about specific to cats being stolen is because lots of people out there are not driving their vehicles. Specifically work vehicles, work trucks, and we are seeing them come in with stolen cats because people aren't using them and they're sitting in driveways or yards or other places like that. And without us using them every day, the awareness level of around these parts being stolen is slim to none. So I wanted to kind of get ahead of this and give people some warning around vehicles that you may not be using right now, because a lot of us are staying in our homes and trying to be safe during the COVID-19 outbreak. We are still open. Muffler Tech is still operational during this time. As far as now, the government has deemed us a necessity and or an essential business, being automotive repair. So we're here. We're here to serve you. We're here to help you with stolen cats like the Prius behind me and some of the other ones I showed you earlier. But what I want to make sure this video addresses is the type of vehicles now that the thieves are targeting beyond Prius. Prius is still absolutely number one. But number two, we're seeing Honda Accords and Honda Elements and Honda Odysseys are all kind of in that same number two category. And they're coming in pretty frequently now. So if you drive a Honda product, be very cautious of that, and know that we're here to help you if your part does get stolen. Number three, we're seeing Ford, specifically the F-250 and 3/4 ton and 1 ton chassis stuff. They're liking to steal the big torpedo cats that are on those. And I'll show you those here in just a second. But what I want to make sure everybody knows is during this outbreak, of course, be cautious, stay indoors. Let's see if we can't get through this thing as quickly as possible, but also be cognizant of this is happening, whether you know it or not, and when it's time to go back to work, it's possible you get back in that vehicle and it may be missing a cat. If that's the case, please contact us. Let us help you get that fixed for you, and we'll also talk to you about some different security and deterrent options that we have for different vehicles as well. All right, so addressing the Fords, these are the two different cats I want to talk to you about, specific to, again, the F chassis stuff here, like this bus and also this F-250 and a work truck here. But you can see how big the cat is that's on the top of the screen. That is the traditional, what we call the torpedo catalytic converter that comes factory on both of the trucks I just showed you. And you can see from just the size of it here, let's do this. I wear a size 11 here, so I'll give you kind of an idea of how big it is. It's a pretty big unit. So there's a lot of precious metal in it because of its size, and so that's why it's a target on these F chassis pickups. The replacement, which is on the lower part of the screen, you can see is not quite as big. But what's important to talk about these two is once you replace it, and this goes for some of the other products or the other cars I should say, that we replace cats with, but once you replace it with this one here versus that one, you can see there's a pretty significant visual difference between the two. And the good news is, once this one up here is stolen and you come in and replace it with this one here, it's kind of a one and done deal. Most of the thieves are in the know that the aftermarket part, albeit has the same amount, if not more, precious metal in it, doesn't have the same infrastructure, speaking to pricing, when they go to recycle it. So it's not worth nearly as much, and we don't see the theft once we've changed the parts. So here's an Accord that we just got in, and I'll show you here, similar to the other cars, how they're doing it. But like I've shown you on some of our Prius videos in the past, you can tell they're using a pipe cutter here. If you look closely at the edge right there, that's from the blade of the pipe cutter. And then we come back here, and the same deal. You can see how that edge is nice and clean, pipe cutter, but same deal too, similar to the Priuses. There's an O2 sensor that's in the Cat, so when they steal it, they also grab the O2 sensor and they just cut this with a pair of wire cutters. So let me pan out here and take a look. But that's an Accord, the stolen Cat. What I want to show you is in most cases on the Accords, similar to the Fords, we're going to be looking at something like this. So this is an old scrap piece that I had to show you what an original Cat looks like on an Accord like this one, and then what the replacement would look like. And again, visual difference here between the two. Ironically, the aftermarket Cat probably has more precious metal in it than this Cat started with, but again, the infrastructure as far as valuation goes, for somebody to take this in and recycle it is not the same deal. So they're only after these. And the upside to these other cars on the list, besides the Toyota Prius, is that once we repair these, assuming that we're able to use an aftermarket part like this guy that's legal for the California list, you're pretty well done. They don't steal them anymore. So in quick review, I just wanted to make sure that we're clear about what I'm trying to get across point-wise in this video, and that is number one, absolutely Toyota Prius, especially Gen 2, and that's 2004 to 2009. Those are still absolutely our number one target, speaking to what we're seeing here in the shop in the big numbers. But I want to make sure everybody else is also aware, especially during this time of us maybe not using our cars and not paying attention to them during the COVID-19 outbreak and a lot of shelter-in-place type stuff that we're seeing, at least a lot in our area, and I think it's a nationwide and maybe even a global thing at this point. But cars aren't being used, so we may not be aware that these Cats are missing, and when you go to use it, you'll start it up. It's going to be noisy. That's probably what's happened if they've stolen your Cat. So again, all Priuses, but most likely, or most to be aware of, are 2001 to 2009. We are starting to see the Gen 3s come in. Gen 3 is going to be 2010 to 2015. And we have heard, not seen physically yet in our shop, but we've heard the Gen 4s are now starting to become a target. And this is just some of the information we're getting from the industry talk about some of the stuff, and this is happening everywhere. Again, this isn't just Sacramento. This is not just USA, as a matter of fact. We're talking about global problems. But number two, Honda products to be very careful of. I mentioned earlier, Honda Accords, they seem to be the number one target of the Honda category, but don't take for granted that if you're driving something different, you don't need to be concerned about it. We're seeing a lot of Elements, we're seeing Odysseys, and we are seeing some Pilots as well. Any Honda product, be cautious of, because the Cats in Hondas, similar to Toyota, have similar amounts of precious metal content, and so that leads to their value and their recyclability. So Honda number two. Number three, any F chassis, heavy duty F250, F350, F450s, we're seeing with that Torpedo Cat that I showed you earlier, they're after those, and they're relatively easy to get out because, again, they're trucks, they're high off the ground, and often, because they're work vehicles, they're not necessarily in people's driveways, sometimes they're in yards and things like that. So if you fire up an F chassis truck making a bunch of noise, it really probably don't even need to look underneath it. I can almost guarantee you somebody stole your Cat. As mentioned, the vehicles besides the Prius that we've talked about, for the most part, outside of the Hondas that are rated SULEV, which is super ultra low emissions vehicle, those still unfortunately need to be factory parts. But all the other Accords and the Pilot and the Element and the other vehicles that I mentioned, along with also the F chassis trucks, assuming they're not too new, there are some vehicles in the F chassis that require factory parts as well, but for the most part we are able to do aftermarket replacement on those vehicles, and because of that, of course the cost is less because of the aftermarket, but more importantly the target around theft is going to be much less likely because the thieves are not after the aftermarket components. So knowing all of this and moving forward, I want to make sure that I pass this along, and hopefully this is a helpful thing to everybody that's watching, in that be cautious, everybody, with those vehicles I just mentioned. Again, during this time of pandemic and during the time of a lot of us not using our vehicles, know that this is something to be cautious about. And if you do become a target of theft, or you've experienced catalytic converter theft, please see us. You can go to priuscats.com, you can go to stolencats.com. That'll both lead you to our website. And by all means, you can always call the shop, 916-421-0399. Any of us are here to help you. We'll do the best we can for those of you that are out of the area. Please keep in mind that we are a service shop that's located in Sacramento. So doing things for you if you're hundreds or thousands of miles away may not be something we can provide. But if you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments below. I'm happy to help you regardless of where you happen to be on this great planet of ours. I feel like I've been able to help other people in different countries with some different ideas. We have been able to ship some of our theft deterrent components out off and on. But again, everybody be safe during this time of what's going on here with COVID-19. Again, we're an essential business. We are open. We've modified our hours a little bit. Instead of 8 to 6 Monday through Friday, we're 8 to 5. And instead of 9 to 4 on Saturdays, we're 9 to 2. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. Please see my channel for other videos on this topic around stolen cats. And if you really like what I have to say and you feel it's helpful, subscribe. Help me out. I'm trying to get build an audience here, and I'll continue to hopefully give you guys some information that is useful to everybody. Again, priuscats.com, stolencats.com, and the business name is Muffler Tech. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day.